Hi guys, it's the Voodoo Doll from Noir Grimoire. Thank you for joining me again as we continue our journey through the tarot and learning how to utilize the tarot in our ritual work. So the next card we're going to do is going to be the Hierophant. This is the fifth card. This is the Hierophant. And you can see it's again another Pope. One of our cards before had a Pope on there and it was a female Pope, but this is a male Pope. And I love this card. The Hierophant card is a card of change, of making order out of chaos. But the reason I like this card so much is it is the relationship card. It will most likely come up if you're asking for love readings. And when you start doing your readings and start getting into your magic and manifesting things for yourself, you'll see what I mean. You can shuffle this deck 100 times, all the cards, and when you ask a question about a relationship, most likely this card will come up. Now, if I'm asking for a business reading or I ask for anything else, tell me the weather, give me whatever it is, I will never get this card. I only get this card when I'm asking about relationships. And this card is normally a card when you are making a decision that suits you in love. If you are moving forward and realizing that I'm tired of being a player, I'm tired of, going out on different dates on Tinder or whatever, I really want to settle down and get married, you get this card. It's a card of tradition. When someone is thinking about tradition, about higher calling, about family values, about what's important to them in a relationship, what they're looking for in a wife versus what they're looking for in, a situationship or just playing the field, this card is a card of traditional values, family values, order out of chaos, and it can also be the card of leaving things that no longer suit you in love in the past. It is definitely, think of it as the relationship card. It's you can think of it as like the gatekeeper card. A few situations that would have you pulling this card, like I said, if you were thinking of marriage, or if a guy was thinking of marriage, like say you do a love reading and your boyfriend broke up with you and the reader or yourself pulled the Hierophant card, depending on what the other cards are around it, it could change the reading, but I would say that this card represents that he did not feel like you fit his idea of traditional values and he's moving forward in his life. Tired of playing the field and wants to settle down with someone, and he didn't think that you were it. And that is what that card would mean. Leaving the past, moving towards tradition. It hurts when you get that card in a reading when someone has broken up with you, but that's normally what it means. If you are single and you do a love reading and this comes up, this card is begging you to ask the question to yourself of what do I really want in a relationship? It may be asking you to dig deep and figure out your own core values. Maybe it sees that it's time for you to realign with that so it could send you your soulmate. This is definitely a card that is a powerful one. Or if you're doing a love reading and you ask, I've been with my boyfriend for a year or whatever, can you tell me a little bit how he feels about me? And you get this card. Depending on the other ones around it, I would say that this card means that he may be seeing you as a good match, somebody that he could marry, somebody that he could settle down with. This would be a very welcomed card in that spread. So the Hierophant, we can't necessarily think of a person when it comes to the Hierophant. So I want you to train yourself to think of situations. It's more of a situational card. A change card, like I said, order out of chaos. So if you were to try to think of a real life example for the Hierophant, you can think of, if you're a guy, you can think of the time that you realized that you wanted to marry your wife. That would be your Hierophant moment. Think of the things that were going on in your life that made you realize that she's the one and made you realize that the other ones weren't the one. Like you never proposed to anyone before. This was the first woman that you proposed to. Maybe you've been married 10 times, who knows? I don't know. But each time you got married, there was something that made that person stick out. That's the Hierophant. Think of the thought process that you went through before you were proposing. Think of, she's going to be a great mother. She's nurturing. She's kind. She's patient. I should stop cheating on her. I should give her everything. That moment, that thing, that decision, the order out of chaos, wanting tradition and moving forward to a higher calling, listening to your spirit when it comes to love, that is the Hierophant. And if it is you breaking up with someone because you realize the person didn't fit your standards or goals or whatever it is, then that's also the Hierophant. The pain of knowing that somebody doesn't fit your life, doesn't fit your spirit, your vision for yourself, whatever it is, and realizing what those qualities are that they don't have, and then having a better spiritual awakening after that pain. You're clear. God, I was wasting my time with him. He's such a loser. That is the Hierophant. Realizing that your baby daddy ain't shit, ain't never gonna be shit, and you shouldn't have had all those kids with him. The Hierophant. Because you're realizing that, once the love phase, the honeymoon phase has worn off, that this person doesn't give me what I need. They're not who I need. They're not who my children need. They're not a good example for me. They're not a provider. They're not a leader. That is the Hierophant. Anytime you're making a decision in love of your standards, your goals, your, whatever it is that you want out of love, and you're either working towards that and walking away from something chaotic, that is the Hierophant. So think of that as your relationship card. If you are watching 90 Day Fiance or something, that's heavy Hierophant. If you're watching the show Cheaters, that again is heavy Hierophant. Those girls get on there and they find out that their partner is cheating. They bust in the restaurant and confront them, and they're like, I'm better than this, and they leave the guy and divorce him after the show and all that. It's still the Hierophant, because it's about making a decision regards to love of what works best for you and what doesn't work, and either walking away or walking towards love, walking away from love or walking towards love. That's the Hierophant and the energy of the Hierophant. If I were to use that in a reading and I wanted my boyfriend to propose, maybe we've been dating a long time, he's dragging his feet and he's proposing, you could use the Fool card to represent him, or you could use the Emperor card if he has that type of energy. And then you can go ahead and use the Magician card, which we've already learned, because you're trying to create something. You are the magician. You are representing yourself as a magician, and you're trying to create a marriage proposal. And then you would use the Hierophant card, and you would set that Hierophant card out in that spread. And your intention is to make this person realize that you embody everything that they want in a relationship. And you have to be careful when you're using the Hierophant card in a ritual, because say you're doing a ritual and you use the Hierophant card on your boyfriend because you want him to propose, but your intention that you put into the ritual is, I want him to realize what he really wants in life and in love, and I want him to really focus on his goals, and I want him to be very clear on who he wants to marry and what he wants in a wife. And you do that ritual, and then he breaks up with your fucking ass on Friday, 10 hours after you did it, because you are not the embodiment of what he wants in a wife or a family or love. You just fucked yourself. So make sure that when you are doing these rituals and you're using this Hierophant card, it's, I want XYZ to realize that I am what he wants, that I am the embodiment of his goddess, his ideal wife. Make sure that you're attaching yourself to that card and not just leaving it general of, I hope, they come to a conclusion of what they really want out of life, and then realizing it's not you. So be careful with that Hierophant card, but that is, that's the Hierophant, and that's how we would use that in a relationship ritual, love manifestation ritual. If I'm trying to draw love to myself, I may use this card and say, I want to attract someone that has the same values, core values that I have, and I would use that Hierophant card. I'm trying to attract my soulmate, and I go ahead and throw that Hierophant card in there, making sure that we're both aligned and that we have the same core values. So that is the Hierophant. So join me next week and we will go into the next card, which is going to be the Lovers. Bye.